So welcome everybody to this new military section video. Just before we get started, a bit of a disclaimer. None of these photos are mine and I own the rights to none of them. So, credit has been given where it was available and where it's been requested. Other occasions the copyright has run out and has not been renewed, so the pictures are free for public use. So, points which will be covered in this video are types of battleships, what ended the battleship, and will the battleship ever come back. And I'm sure on that last point there's quite a lot of you thinking, no, the battleship's days are done, it'll never come back. But if you stick with this video and bear with me, by the end of the video I'm sure you will change your opinion on that last point. At the very least you'll end up second guessing yourself, hopefully. So if you end up watching all this video all the way through and you enjoy it, please like the video, smash that notification bell so you are informed when I publish new content, and please subscribe. So without further ado, let's get to it. So I'm sort of cheating a little bit here. This is Hms Hood, and obviously she was a battle cruiser, not a battleship. So battle cruisers were meant to be and designed to be quicker, with the same firepower but less armour. So HMS Hood, which had Pennant number 51, was the lead ship of the Admiral class of battle cruisers. 4 were initially meant to be made, but only HMS Hood was built. Her sister ships would have been HMS Anson, HMS Harry and HMS Rodney. Construction was already underway when the Battle of Jutland occurred in mid-1916. The battle revealed serious flaws in the Admiral class, even though drastic design revisions had been made before HMS Hood was completed 4 years later. So for this reason, HMS Hood was the only ship in her class to be completed, as the Admiralty decided it would be better to start with a clean design on succeeding battle cruisers. Despite the appearance of newer and more modern ships, HMS Hood remained the strongest and largest warship in the world after her commissioning, and her prestige was reflected in her nickname, the Mighty Hood. So, personally I think that's quite an accomplishment. She was the largest warship in the world for 20 years, even though there were newer and more modern ships being built. So, this is HMS Vanguard, Pennant number 23, and this shows HMS Vanguard underway between 1946 and 1948. She was the biggest and fastest of the Royal Navy's warships. HMS Vanguard was the only ship of her class, and she was the last battleship ever to be built. Throughout HMS Vanguard's career, she usually served as a flagship of any unit where she was assigned. So, now we're moving on to American battleships. This is a photo of apparently the only occasion that all 4 Iowa class battleships were photographed operating together. So, the ship closest to the camera is USS Iowa, BB-61. Then behind her is USS Wisconsin, BB-64. Then behind her is USS Missouri, BB-63. And after her is USS New Jersey, BB-62. So, in this class of battleships, there were USS Iowa, USS New Jersey, USS Missouri, USS Wisconsin, as well as USS Illinois and USS Kentucky. USS Kentucky and USS Illinois were both cancelled. Early in the Cold War, USS Illinois and USS Kentucky were included in a proposal to be rebuilt as aircraft carriers, but this never came to light. Iowa-class battleships were one of the world's best class of battleships and were decommissioned and recommissioned several times. And that was partly because the US Navy wanted to replace them with something that had the same amount of firepower, if not greater. So they were decreasing the Navy's strengths. Plus there was such a dependable and strong warship, both offensively and defensively. They did receive several refits and upgrades during their careers. So, this is a photo of Bismarck in 1940. The credit which is given to this photo is listed on the Wikipedia page for Bismarck class of battleships. I have not listed it here because I can't pronounce it as it's in German. So the ships in the Bismarck class included Bismarck and Tirpitz. After 1942, Tirpitz had 8 53.3cm above water torpedo tubes installed in 2 quadruple mounts, 1 mount on each side of the ship. Bismarck never had torpedoes fitted. There's a couple of other differences between the Tirpitz and Bismarck, although they were both Bismarck class battleships. This is a photo of Yamato. This photo is in public domain as far as I can tell because its copyright has expired according to Article 23 of the 1899 Copyright Act of Japan and Article 2 of the Supplemental Provisions of Copyright Act of 1970. If I have got this wrong, then please let me know in the comments, and I will move the video as a photo is from the Yamato class battleship Wikipedia page. So, ships in the class were Yamato, Musashi, Shinano, warships number 111. She was cancelled when 30% complete, March 1942, and warship number 797, and she was cancelled during planning. I do apologise if I have mispronounced any of them names. So obviously there was a lot more battleships that served around the world, including King George V battle, ships such as Prince of Wales that helped in the hunt for the Bismarck class battleship Bismarck. But I have listed only these because these are the ones that, to me, really stuck out through history. Although Prince of Wales and King George V also had major parts during World War II. They do stick out. But these were the ones that I think most people will recognise. So, what ended the Battleship? During and after World War II, new technology eroded the advantages that battleships had. So such things as aircraft carriers and submarines could easily take out battleships. And this point is made if you research the Hunt and thinking of the Bismarck. If the Royal Navy hadn't have damaged the propeller of Bismarck, there's a high chance Bismarck would have made it back to German occupied harbour, or made it actually back to Germany itself. So that was all thanks to a Swordfish torpedo bomber launched off HMS Royal. The home fleet wasn't close enough to engage Bismarck with any of the ships, let alone the battleships, so it was due to HMS Royal, which is an aircraft carrier, managed to delay Bismarck, slow it down enough for the battleships to finish the job. And if you're interested in the sinking of the Bismarck, I have done a video celebrating the 80th anniversary of the Battle of the Denmark Strait. I highly suggest you go watch that. It's very interesting. So, moving on. Battleships were the largest and most complex warships afloat, and because of this, they were the most expensive warships of their time. As a result of this, the value of investment in battleships had always been contested. So, it had always been contested whether battleships were value for money. So, the future. So, this is USS Sunwalt, DDG 1000. She is a guided missile destroyer of the United States Navy. Now, she is a lead ship of the Zumwalt class and the first ship to be named after Admiral Elmer Zumwalt. USS Sunwalt has stealth capabilities, having radar cross-section similar to a fishing boat, despite her large size. So, although she is a guided missile destroyer, she has been called a battleship in quite a lot of articles that I have read while she's been in operation, and even when the Zumwalt class officially became into existence, she was called a battleship in quite a lot of articles, and I can understand why. She's got a large size, her initial offensive capability would have been the strongest of anything pretty much in the US Navy, although the gun that she was meant to use isn't in operation because of how expensive the ammunition is per shot. So it really did get me thinking. So, with new weapon systems and technology being released and invented all the time, such as the Advanced Gun System, AGS, which was meant to be aboard the USS Sunwalt, but because it costs between $800,000 to $1 million per round, it's not being used. There's no ammunition, so therefore it can't be used. Dragonfire, which is a shipborne laser weapon which is being developed by the Royal Navy, as well as other directed energy weapon systems in development by the UK, and this is meant to be more powerful than the Dragonfire laser system, as well as electromagnetic railguns. So all these weapons are either just coming to light or they're going to be in the very near future. So it got me comparing like old battleships and future vessels. Battleships were known for their extreme firepower. They could dish out a hell of a lot of damage, and these new weapon systems are designed to do the same. So as new ships that are going to be using these weapon systems, are they going to be closer to being classed as a battleship rather than a destroyer? Or would it be inaccurate to call them a battleship? Because bearing in mind that these new weapons need a lot of energy to power them, and these power systems aren't exactly small. So some of these weapon systems that I have talked about are planned to go on the new aircraft carrier USS Gerald R. Ford and her sister ships. Because she produces that much power, the excess could easily power any number of these weapon systems. So if you take into consideration the size of an aircraft carrier, especially an American aircraft carrier, being the biggest in the world, you can sort of imagine the size of a ship that would needed to carry these power systems. So I am thinking about doing like a follow-on video to this, where I'll look into where these weapons are going to be put on, if there's any idea about ships. I reckon since the Dragonfire shipborne laser weapon system is already actually a thing, it's not been put on a ship yet, it could be put on the new Type 83 destroyers. But yeah, so if you've liked this video and it's got you thinking, then brilliant. Please like, comment, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Did you enjoy this video? Is there anything I could have done better? I will see you in the next video, and thank you for watching.